All right, good morning. My beautiful wife is here, so you need first of all stand up to be seen and you didn't stand. Thank you. All right, that's after 3. She's been my friend for the last 17 years. We're married for 9 years by next month, 11th of December. I still love you, and I always love you. Thank you. Clap. It's a good point to clap, all right? I almost said praise the Lord. All right, so if you hear me say praise the Lord at any time, just understand, all right? Thank you, Popu Foundation, and my big brother, Architect Ape, for this opportunity. Sometimes when I speak, I strike, so if I strike against you, I'm sorry. I mean, we can't move forward without some very hard stones sometimes. All right, synergy, that's why you need a good lawyer like myself, all right? Okay. So let's synergize. I'm speaking very briefly about managing upline, sideline, and downline relationships for corporate and personal growth. I try to make a few points because of the time. I'm used to teaching for very long. Number one, I'll just run through the points and say the things I need to say. We all have up, side, and downline relationships. Everybody's got them. Because you didn't just show up here, you showed up through somebody, and you have people under you at the moment. There are no meaningless relationships in the world. That's the mistake people make. So people begin to undermine certain people that come into their life. There are no meaningless relationships at all. The day you realize that, you begin to treat everybody for a certain type of value, even the cleaner in your house. Let me say something to you. Some great people who fell in this nation fell because of people they disregarded. Simple. So you got to be careful. All right? So every relationship has a purpose and a role to play in your corporate and personal growth and life. That's what people also miss. Once you get that, you begin to treat everybody with a sense of purpose. So now let's hit one stone here. You are as connected as the relationships you have been able to manage and maximize. Some of us are so broke on relationships. What we are trying to do is that we're trying to earn more in our bank account, not knowing that the relationships we are mismanaging is where we are destroying our economic value. So you have thrown away people in your life who should have changed it. Your account balance is what it is because of who you know. As simple as that. So stop mismanaging people and trying to grow wealth. Do you get? So, some of us are backward because of our pride. We're so proud, arrogant. Who are you? Hello? Back to the question, who are you? You know who I am, especially in this country. And Sinach has watched some of your cases. I know who I am. You don't know who you are. You don't know who you are. Because who you are is connected. Let me tell you, the only time you will need nobody to excel in life is when you are able to show me that you didn't come through a pregnancy. Somebody loved somebody, slept with somebody, and you showed up. Then you needed to be nursed by a woman. Some of you are so arrogant against women, you sucked a breast. To self. You know one of the things you must do? Relate in such a way that you create trust. That's one of the things missing. People relate very often, but they don't create trust from relationship. And let me tell you, in the economic space, a lot of people have damaged trust so easy. MMM, bloom, boom. Trust. So the world is looking for who relates in a way to trust. Let me be honest with you. The capital that will put your name on global map is seated in this room. You'll be shocked. If you know how much money is in this room. You know sometimes when you are negotiating with an Igbo man for a shoe for 2,000, 3,000, take a look at the shop. That shop is actually worth more millions than the person you are disregarding. Because you buy one shoe from him, 15,000, and there are about 10,000 of those shoes in his warehouse. That guy is big, but he's just wearing short neck and you're insulting him. You know who I am? You came to buy. He has it. All right. Maximizing this relationship will benefit you, benefit them, your organization, and your future. 4 persons involved. So very often what people do is that I come to take benefit for me without thinking of what benefits them. That's a big miss. All right? So the best way to maximize relationship is to give maximum benefit to them. The seed time harvest principle. See, if I give you stuff, you are going to feel obligated, except you are the devil. I know there are a few devils in life. But obligate people by the value you give them. Very simple. How do I return to any platform? When I'm invited to a platform, give so much value that I say, actually, we have another program next year. Yes, I know. Because I gave something. But what do people do? I don't like people who beg for platforms. They don't have something to give. Give something, they'll call you. And say, actually, I know how to sing. You know how to sing? You know, I asked a gentleman, he came to me, I said, can I have a CD? Can I have something? Can I see something? What do you do? You know, you just want to say it. Don't say it, do it. All right? I say I was going to give a few stories. I'll jump that and come back to it. It is not every time you have a right that you must fight for the right. That's another mistake people make. Somebody stepped on you to say, actually, I know you didn't mean it. It's okay. Say, you stepped on me. Come on, maximize relationships. And that's one of the things that kill people in this country. In fact, I'll jump to a point I have towards the end, but because of what I just said, it is tragic to be angry and disconnected from your destiny helpers. That's what a lot of people are suffering. They're angry at the people who should help them. That's the problem. All right? Who you are talking to ought to determine your tone. Who you are talking to ought to determine your tone. I can make the same point to a subordinate, same point to a boss, but choose the tone differently. Why? To a subordinate, I must command authority with respect. To a superior, I must communicate respect and not authority. In fact, order and authority passed upward is rebellion. Simple. You can't pass instruction upward. It's rebellion. You can only pass suggestion upward. Same point. Sir, I think we can do like this. To subordinate, you now say, you guys are going to do it like this. There's a difference. But what people do is they don't even know that you can make the same point to different people with different tones. So it matters the tone of your conversation depending on who you speak to. I'm going to give some stories and read some examples. Because when I was coming here, I just thought to myself, I must be able to model what I teach from my experience. I have a very dicey situation going on in one of the states in Nigeria where we are prosecuting for the federal government. I'm a lawyer, I said. So on this day, I had to stand in for my boss and principal, OKUTEPA, and my father also. And on the other side are 3 senior advocates, very senior members of the inner bar. One of them is 73 years old. He's the one who sent this message to my dad after the proceeding. I said they're on the other side. They are defending a former governor, a former this, former that, on the other side, and I'm supposed to be prosecuting. He's 73 years old. He's been in the profession for 45 years. I'm 35. That means he was in the profession for 10 years before I was born. All right? He's been a member of the inner bar for so many years. That's a senior advocate of Nigeria. So I returned, and my dad forwards this message to me after our first encounter in court. It was a very dicey situation. Now, I can be very brutal in court. That's the truth. But here's the deal. I need the guys on the other side. That means I can make my brutality with respect. So that my brutality should be law, not conduct. Do you understand what I'm saying? And this is what he said. My dear OKUTEPA, following the sad and unethical, indiscreet response of Justice so and so, the issue even involved the judge eventually. And these guys are powerful enough to send this kind of message. He said, gave to Isiaku SN's request for an adjournment, which request you and the rest of us acquiesced. Ayodele SN and I rushed to blah blah state in the morning to effect some measured damage repair. We succeeded to an extent. I was extremely proud of your son's professional performance. His English was very good, his composure dignified, and his legal submission and rapport with the court and all defense counsel impressive. May the Lord enhance his profession. This is coming from the other side. I forwarded this message to my office platform. Make una see you. I forwarded it to my wife. Look, because you don't travel with me, so you don't know what goes on. I mean, all 3 members of the inner bar are senior to my own father and boss. So, reading this is coming from an opponent. And it taught me something. Every time I have to address the court and conduct proceeding with people, irrespective of what side of the divide they are, I must watch my conduct. Why? In the quarters that matter in life, when I apply for anything in this profession, these are the same persons who must give you a reference. So it doesn't matter that on this case, we're on opposite side. It matters what I represent myself as. So that when the day comes that your voice matters, you will look back at my conduct and who I presented myself to be. Some of us take one transaction as the end of transactions. That's not true. Because the person you are negotiating with today may be the same person you will need tomorrow. I have another story to tell. By the way, my father was just a mechanic when I was born. Just OKUTEPA SN, some of you know about him. He was a taxi driver. We went through the backside of life and through thorough poverty. I was born before the man went to school, by the way, all right? I know 5 minutes. I was born. Yeah, I went to Unijurs, did taxi driving and truck driving to augment, to keep the family running, practiced law for 9 years without being able to afford a bicycle before I managed something that was reasonably fit to be called a car on the street. 2011, by dint of hard work and the grace of God, became senior advocate of Nigeria. I say all these sense of responsibility for a reason. Managing relationships. I was telling somebody, the former president of the bar, Chief Wole Olenipekun, came to our house. I still remember we were on Okpoga Street in Makurdi in 2003. I can't live in that kind of place. Chief Wole Olenipekun was called to the Inner Bar, senior advocate of Nigeria, in 1991, before my father was called to bar. He was already made when he paid that visit. I look at my father and I realized something, that one of the things he did through life was to be able to respect relationships in the profession. He was so good, they would call him for being good, and so respectful, he would bow for the people he needed to bow for. If you don't bow for certain people, you will never rise. Simple. So when I watch his life, I say to myself, wow, this is a big lesson to take. So when I meet people, I tell my wife, just because I'm OKUTEPA's son, I pay close attention to respect in every court I go. Why? There's already a problem being somebody's son. You know, a prince does not bargain to be a prince, but a prince carries the burden of being a prince. Because not everybody is a prince, so they don't even like you for the fact that you are a prince. So I don't want to move in such a way that I say he's just proud because he's OKUTEPA's son and there's nothing in his head. So one of two things I do quickly is I put something in my head and act like I'm not OKUTEPA's son. Do you understand what I'm saying? It helps me manage the relationships fast. Let me also say something about downline. I had to spend a couple of weeks and running into months in Kano during the petition, and I had 2 lawyers assigned to me. I'm by the way, not fully in my dad's office. I just work with them. I have, like you see on the profile. So I had to be in Kano with 2 of my juniors. Now, nicely, we have Christians, we have Muslims in Nigeria and other religions. The 2 boys with me, Muslims. So I'm going to read their messages to me when we're done with the Kano experience and we're back. All of this is just to show you an example. They are my subordinates. I had to coordinate with them. I know my profession. People complain about their seniors very easy. It's one of the decisions I made, because I'm going to give you a story. Before I read their message, I know a senior advocate of Nigeria today who was made senior advocate by his junior who served under him. Here's what happened. The guy becomes registrar of one of the appellate courts, one of the top courts in Nigeria, and he calls him and says, "Oh, guy, you're going to be an SCN." The guy says, "It's not possible." He said, "I will make you an SCN." First thing he did, because his position was so powerful, this guy served in his office many years ago. First thing he did is that he built him an office and furnished it to the tune of 10 million. He said, "Okay, I'm making you senior advocate." Fixed his appeals for hearing because he needed case requirement to meet up. Fixed his appeals for hearing, gave him appeals, gave him more appeals. In 2 years, he was an SCN. His junior that served in his office. How kind are you towards people who have no power against you? And this is what the 2 guys said. Number 1, Bashir sends this to me when we returned from Kano and the job in Kano was done. "Good afternoon, Leonard, senior brother, sir. Sir, it is indeed a pleasure and wonderful, unforgettable experience traveling with and appearing in a matter with you, sir. As we are highly enriched in knowledge, social interaction, and what it takes to be with one senior in the profession. We are indeed very appreciative of your kind gestures all through, sir. At this point, sir, may I most humbly and respectfully pray, may Almighty God increase in you in health, wealth, wisdom, and ability to discharge your professional responsibilities diligently. I pray for God's protection and guidance for you and your family. We are indeed very happy with you, boss. Thank you, sir, and may God bless you and your beloved family." That's Bashir. Abdurrahman says this, "Honestly, sir, you are very, very special of a human race. You are the boss after a moment, a brother, and in some seconds, the best friend someone will beg God to have. Though I would say you showed all of the qualities while I was your extern." He served in my dad's office when I was fully in my dad's office, "under your supervision, but notwithstanding as a colleague, you still took me as your younger brother. I appreciate everything about you, sir. May Allah bless you endlessly and you will grow higher, sir. And I will do my best to make you proud and tell the world that you are my boss. Thank you very much for this opportunity, sir, and I look forward to more opportunities with you, one of your boys in Kano." This is what we must do to people. You must leave people with a better self-worth than they met you. But what we do in this world, we try to put people down. Your subordinates do not mean that they are inferior to you. You just have the privilege to lead. You know, not a lot of us read the Bible perhaps, but I know a king in scriptures by the name Nebuchadnezzar. He received a warning that guy, you're getting too proud. The guy didn't understand it. When all went well, he roamed the bush for 7 years and came back to realize, you know what? Authority does not belong to me. It comes from above. God bless you.